Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 4th of September, or on the 6th day of the Ukrainian counter-offensive operation on the south of Ukraine. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. And today we will start this video a little bit in other way. Let's take a look at the Russian sources map and you will understand everything. South of Ukraine, the front line is stable. The middle part between Kherson and Nikolaev, the front line is stable. A little bit to the north, Lyubimovka, we can say, has fallen, and the Ukrainians return control over this town. The area between Kiselyovka and Snegiryovka, the front line is stable. The only update we have from Snegiryovka, the Ukrainians attacked this town with artillery, and as far as I understand, they attacked their rocket and reached some place where the kids were playing, and few kids were killed during this attack. Avdiivka-Lazovo bridgehead. The Ukrainians managed to take control over Blagodatovka and to stabilize the front line in this area. They managed to take control over the pontoon bridge that the Russians prepared during the previous days, and they managed to restore at least one pontoon bridge that they built these few days ago, before the counter-offensive operation. And now we are talking about the most important part of this front line. Vysokopolye and Olgina has fallen. The Russians were forced to leave this area and to retreat from these positions. Now let's discuss this situation in more details. If you remember, yesterday we discussed that the Ukrainians were trying to develop their offensive operation and this bridgehead, but then they were encircled, that the Russians took control over Ternovka, they destroyed the bridges, but after that the Ukrainians moved more forces in the direction of Berezhnye-Gavata, and with help of every tanks, every armored vehicles, with the use of everything they have, they started counter-offensive operation with one purpose: to deblocate the Ukrainians who appeared in this back. And they attacked through Ternovka in the direction of Blagodatovka. And as you can see, according to the Russian sources map, yesterday they crossed the river, and today we got update that they established control over this town. So the Ukrainians are here, and they have a lot of way to cross this river, and I suppose that maybe they were gonna have 1 day or 2 days of operational pause just to bring more forces, to build trenches, to build fortification, and after that they will try to develop their offensive operation from this bridgehead in many directions. There are a lot of towns, they have a lot of infantry, they have a lot of tanks, they have a lot of everything, and they will continue doing their job. Now let's talk about the Olgina-Vysokopolye. If you remember, I told you a few days ago in a row that the situation is critical but stable. And if you remember, I told you that the Russians in this area appeared in some kind of encirclement. Furthermore, the way of retreat were under fire, under heavy fire, and these forces from Vysokopolye didn't have any possibility how to leave this area, so they were forced to fight there. And the Ukrainians were attacking this area heavily. If you take a look at the map of this position, there are a lot of updates exactly on this area. There are a lot of the Ukrainians brought at least Georgian National Legion. So as you can see, very fresh update on the 3rd of September. Also, they brought their Chechen Special Purposes Battalion. This is like not those Chechens who are fighting on the Russian side, but those Chechens who are on the Ukrainian side. They are also very powerful guys. Also, there is 128th Mountain Assault Brigade, but as you know, this brigade were defeated and they have a lot of losses. So the thing is that Ukrainians managed to encircle. And after that, the Russians started debloccation operation, and today we got update and reports that the Russians managed to deblocate the marine forces in Vysokopolye, and after that the Russians decided to leave this area and go away, and they managed to save their forces, and now the front line is on the line between Arkhangelska, Novopetrovka, Novovoznetsenska. But the Russian military experts are saying that the Ukrainians are going to continue their offensive operation in direction of Novovoznetsensk. According to this map, this town is under Russian control, Ukrainian control, sorry, but according to the reality, this town is still in the Russians. So the Ukrainians will try to develop their offensive operation, their progress, and to attack Novovoznetsensk. So this situation in Kherson, and as you can see, this situation is not very good for the Russians, at least if we're talking about territory expansion. If we're talking about the losses from the Ukrainian side, this situation in Russian favor, because the Ukrainians had like 5x losses in comparison with the Russians. It's according to the Russian sources, of course. Maybe the situation a little bit different. But anyway, the thing is how fast the Russians updated their map. There wasn't so situation when those towns were under Ukrainians, but they still were showing that this town is still in the Russians. There were no such situation. So as you can see, we can believe and trust this map, at least at this stage of this special operation. So this is about this front line. Now let's talk about this report of Ministry of Defense. Today they told us that as a result of the day, the Ukrainian lost up to 150 soldiers and 43 armored vehicles in this area. And to tell the truth, the numbers are very interesting. If we compare the numbers of Ukrainian losses since the first day of counter-offensive operation and with today's number, we see that they are very interesting. If we're talking about the first day of counter-offensive operation, the Ukrainian lost up to 1,200 soldiers during the first day, during the first wave, when the Ukrainians were trying just to crack the Russian first line of defense. And if you know, the 128th Brigade were defeated totally, 57th were defeated totally. And this is the new tactic of Ukrainians. They decided to use this tactic on the south, and the tactic is that first wave of their attack, they're sending the territorial defense brigade, like just a regular infantry, massive attack, and their main goal to attack the Russian forces and to reduce their ammunition, their shells, their infantry, to make them tired and so on. And as soon as they do this, after that, the Ukrainians are sending their professional forces. Furthermore, the Russians are saying that if we're talking about Vysokopolye, Olgina, Arkhangelskaya, the final storm of these towns were done, at least Vysokopolye, by the Belarusian forces, those people from Belarus who is fighting on the side of Ukraine. So it's professional forces, special forces, of course, and the Ukrainians were sending just the professionals at the final stage. And some sources are saying that at this stage of this battle, they were not even fighting Vysokopolye. The Russians just decided to leave because they couldn't continue doing this, to hold this area anymore, because of were keeping this area up to 5-6 days without even sleeping, because of like pressure by the meat forces that Ukrainians were sending, like infantry, regular infantry. Another important update from this. By the way, there was no more updates from this area about soldiers. The Russians were talking about other districts. If we're talking about the other districts, the Russians are saying that they attacked some forces in Kurakhova, Foreign Legion, and this Foreign Legion lost up to 50 soldiers. Also, very important updates are coming from Slavyansk bridgehead. Also, I compared this information during the week, and you know that in Slavyansk district there is very interesting brigade is located in this area. I'm talking about this 95th Air Assault Brigade. And the Russians were attacking this brigade a few times during the week. On the 27th of August, this brigade lost up to 100 soldiers. On the 29th of August, this brigade lost up to 150 soldiers. On the 2nd of... No, not on the 2nd. On the 3rd of September, this brigade lost up to 100 soldiers. And on the 4th of September, today, according to the Russian report, this brigade in small town by the name of Adamovka, this brigade lost up to 55 soldiers. So as you can see, during the previous week, the Russians concentrated on this brigade, trying to spot this brigade and to reduce it as much as possible. And I ask myself, why did they do this? Why are they doing this right now? And today we got the question to this, the answer to this question. Let's take a look at the Russian source map and you can understand everything. Today the Russians lost Ozernoye, this town. And as you can see, this town is located on the Russian side of Seversky Donetsk River. And if you take a look at this map, this position, you're going to see that on this map, this town is called Ilichivka. is under responsibility of this 95th brigade, and now I understand why the Russians were attacking this brigade, because I understood that this brigade was the main forces who was located in on this side of the river, on this forest, where the Ukrainians were trying to set their commandos, scouts with this brigade, and their main job of this brigade were to crack the Russian defense line, front line in this river, to cross Seversky Donetsk, and as you can see, the Ukrainians did this well, and to take control over this town, and now the Russians are showing us that they lost this town on this side of the river. For me, this was a very big question, because the Russians spent months to cross this river, but they lost but if talking about the Ukrainians, they did this like very fast, without problems, without even there were no updates about this before. We didn't heard anything about any clashes in this town, so I can't even imagine how the Ukrainians did this. But anyway, we just got as you can see, there is like also like icon of like crossing, very easy crossing of the river by the Ukrainians of taking this town. So it's a very big problem for the Russians. They're losing some position in Kherson district. Now they're losing some position on the Izum bridgehead, and I'm not sure what's going on. Today we got some report from the Russians that they finally established control more than 70% of Sherwood forest in this area, and as you can see, the Russian source map has been updated. They have moved their red line a little bit to the south, so I suppose that in a day we're going to see update of Russian territory that is under their control. But anyway, the situation in Slaviansk bridgehead is also critical. Furthermore, if we're talking about today and updates, the Russians were reported about the 80s brigade that located in Kramatorsk. This brigade lost up to 120 soldiers and 11 armored vehicles in this area. And also there is a very heavy clashes in the area of Gusarovka. Maybe the Russians they did some recon combos during the previous weeks, and the Russians spotted some positions of 30th Brigade, and the Russians are saying that as a result of that attack, the Ukrainians lost up to 55 soldiers, and the losses is in the 30th Mechanized Brigade, their main position now according to this map in Kharkiv area. Also today we got a very important update from the bridgehead, from the front line between Seversk and Bakhmut and Solidar in this area. We mentioned that there were no updates from this area during the previous weeks. The Russians stopped. Maybe we thought maybe that the Russians, at least I saw that the Russians stopped in this area because counteroffensive in the south, so they just took some pause for this. But I mentioned one thing today. If you remember, if you know, the Russians have a lot of special forces, a lot of brigades, of course, but we haven't heard any updates from, if you know, from Akhmat Special Forces, Chechen Special Forces Akhmat. That special forces was the main forces who took Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, and after they got these towns, we didn't have any updates about them. We haven't heard anything about them. So some sources were saying that they decided to leave their this special operation or something like this, but today we got the first update from this Akhmat Special Forces. As I understand, these guys were in rotation process, and now they came back on the front line. And today the head of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, announced about starting the greatest offensive operation in the area between Seversk and Bakhmut with help of Akhmat Special Forces, with help of LPR forces and DPR forces, and they're planning to move in direction Solidar, and they want to crack this front line and to reduce the Ukrainians. And while the Ukrainians are doing some success in the south, the Russians decided to start taking their Seversk-Bakhmut front line. Furthermore, today we got update that the Russians established control over small railroad station Mayorsk that located on the west side from Zaitsevo. So as you can see, the Russians activated on this front line. I suppose that now the Wagners are in rotation process because they did a lot of job during while the Akhmat was in rotation. Their position, Wagner forces took their position and did their job. They did a lot. They got into Solidar, they got on the east side of Bakhmut, they took Vershina, Semigorye, they managed to capture more than 90% of Kadema, and now they're in rotation. And Akhmat forces came on their position, and now Akhmat forces fresh fully blooded Ahmad forces is going to continue their job, and I suppose that this week we're going to see the storm operation and final fall of Solidar and Sever storm operation as well. So let's see what these guys can do in this situation. Also, another important update we got from Crimea. Today we got a lot of videos and confirmation that there was a lot of trains moving across the Crimea bridge from Rostov in direction of Crimea, and as far as I understand, in direction of south of Kherson, of a lot of Russian armored vehicles, tanks and trucks and so on. So I suppose that maybe the Russians decided to move some reinforcement from 3rd Military Corps in direction of Kherson because of, let's say, a little bit critical situation in Kherson. The thing is that the Ukrainians did the most important thing. They managed to destroy these bridges. We need to understand that this bridgehead, where the under Russian control, have no way to be supported from the mainland. Just the pontoon bridges. We got a lot of videos and photo confirmation of the fact that this Kakhovka dam was destroyed. It's not like destroyed totally, but you are no longer able to use this bridge for transporting your tanks, armored vehicles. Maybe infantry can cross on the feet during the railroad bridge in this area, but no more supply and support. I don't think that the infantry are able to bring shells and artillery tanks shells in this area on their legs, on their foot. I don't think so. And also Antonov Bridge also was destroyed, and today, not destroyed, but at least we got some updates that the Russians were trying to use this bridge to cross them, and there was confirmation that some Tiger tracks fell down in this river because of so big damage of this bridge. Also, the Ukrainians a little bit changed their focus, and now they started shelling the pontoon bridge in this area. So this is also some kind of confirmation of the fact that from now on you are no longer able to use this bridge anymore because of very heavy damage. So this area is cut from the mainland, at least very close to be cut for 100%. And this is a very bad situation for the Russians. I think that of course, they bring some forces, some supply in this area, but nobody knows how long the Ukrainians are able to keep their offensive operation and how long they are able to keep the tempo of this operation. As we can see, the Ukrainians managed to break through in this area with very heavy losses. Today we got a lot of updates from Nikolaev, Odessa, Kryvyi Rog, Zaporozhye. Their hospitals are full of wounded soldiers. Furthermore, today some Russian sources and Ukrainians said that the Russians attacked hospital in Nikolaev where the Ukrainians were healing the wounded soldiers. That was that information from the Russian sources, from some Russian sources. As you can see, there is no updates on this map with the icons or something like this. If we take a look at the Western sources map, there is some icons of that, of some shelling, but that maybe that happened. So we need to wait a little bit. I suppose that soon we are going to receive more updates, but some Russian sources, every Ukrainian source, are saying that the Russians attack hospital with the wounded Ukrainian soldiers. So there are so much of them there, so I can't even imagine what is going on there, because the Ukrainians are not planning to stop. Their tactic, we understand. First, they're sending their territory defense, and their main idea to exhaust the Russians, and after that they're sending their main forces, special forces, professional forces, and of course this is not a very easy job for the Russians to stand against the professional forces after 5 or 6 days of heavy bloody clashes with the Ukrainian territory defense forces, who were pushing with as an endless wave without any stop. So the situation is very interesting and very critical for both sides. We see something on the south of Kherson. The Russians announced about counter-offensive operation on Solidar-Bakhmut area. Furthermore, the Russians lost very interesting small town Ozerno on their side of this river. So it's a very big question what is happening there. Furthermore, the Ukrainians are sending more and more forces in direction of Izum. So I think that the grand autumn battle is up to begin, and soon we're going to see very heavy battle. And after that, the parties are going to take some operational pause for a few months to fulfill their losses, or maybe even to stop the special operation at all, because the Ukrainians are very serious, the Russians are very serious, and something really bad is going to happen in this special operation. And that's it for today. Military Summary channel reminds you that we condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.